All right, let's talk financing. So I think when it comes to financing, a lot of business owners fall into one of two camps. They either fall into the camp where they say, you know what, not interested in doing financing. I'm just going to self-fund. I'm going to bootstrap, and I am going to fund more and more of my operations by generating more and more sales. So some kind of go into this immediate blinders without realizing that if you pursued a very beneficial stream of debt or equity funding, you could actually go further faster. And then there's some businesses that I think go almost to the opposite extreme, where they become so deeply focused on raising capital, and for some kind of tech and software service companies are going to go really, really deep into the venture capital and angel investors and go so deep into that world. Or some others in the more traditional brick and mortar business might become obsessed with going to every single lender and, what kind of credit will you extend to me? They get so deeply entrenched in this path that I need capital to be able to grow my business, that it becomes a catch-22, that they ultimately end up too focused on it and not sufficiently focused on actually growing a customer base, a revenue base, and a profitable business now, because they're so hung up on the need to get money to grow further and faster. So your scenario is probably going to depend deeply on where your natural bias is. I do think most business owners have, based on their own personality and their own DNA, they're going to lean to one side or the other side of the spectrum. And it's really just important to always be looking at, how do I open my array of options? So you want to be kind of looking at things not as singular and not as the option of get VC funding or get nothing, or look at, get capital or pursue nothing. You want to put yourself in as resourceful of a state as you can and brainstorm an entire buffet of options. And you might not like your entire buffet of options, right? No one said that you're going to love all of them. And it's a reality that every business owner out there needs and wants more money, and there is not going to be the money that everyone wants around there. So you've got to get scrappy, you got to get resourceful, but just know where your natural bias is, and then know and put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're trying to get something from. What are they going to look at? So if you're the person that's not seeking any financing, your biggest risk is going to be opportunity cost, because you're actually not knocking on those doors, you're just kind of going down your own path. If you're the person that's really trying to get capital, you need to put yourself in the shoes of the person that's going to give you money, whether that is loan or whether that is equity. And you want to think, what are they going to want to get in return? So if you're seeking equity, you're seeking an investor is typically going to want a 10x return. They're going to want to have some way of exiting the company. They're going to want to have some way of getting their money out over some time horizon. So you want to think about, if that was the case, and if I were to put myself in the shoes of the investor, well, what would be the things that I would be looking at? What would be the metrics? What would be the projections I want to have in there? What would be the valuations that I want to put in place for my company? What would be the items I could put in to mitigate any risks that they may see in their mind? What are the evidence of traction? Because why they want traction is to make sure that whatever that particular traction is going to be a good payout in the end. Similarly, whenever you're looking more at that debt stream of funding and financing, you're going to want to look at it again. If you're someone that's loaning money, what are they going to be worried about? Well, they're going to be worried about not getting their money back at all. And that is slightly different. So where an equity investor wants to make sure they get a 10x, the debt investor, they're not worried about getting a 10x. They just want to get their own principal back plus whatever that interest is. And so they do tend to be a little bit more concerned with making sure that you have what we call collateral. And so this is why more traditional businesses often tend to go down the route of debt funding, because you will have collateral in the form of land, the actual property, the actual building, the actual equipment, the inventory, because as the person doing the lending, you kind of get yourself these warm feelings of saying, you know what, if the business doesn't work out, I could at least salvage the property and it's still worth something, or I can salvage the land or sell the equipment to someone. So they're going to be looking for collateral, and they're also going to be looking for indicators of your own credit worthiness. So they're going to want to say, if this person has burnt anyone in the past, well, that's a decent indicator that they may burn me in the future. Whereas if this person has a record of being a very strong credit rating, then they're more likely to be the type of person that is going to withhold their end of a debt agreement in the future, meaning to repay their money. So regardless of where on this stream you are, I think it's just to be aware of your opportunity cost and think more about the person that you're asking something from. Put yourself in their shoes, ask yourself what they might want, and when you're preparing your financial projections for them, rate them through that particular lens. So my advice to you is, if you've heard everything that I've kind of spoken through today, give it your best shot. Finance Learning Lab does have a YouTube channel with a few other videos that you can watch that will give you a little bit more in depth on some of these other topics, but give it your best shot to start creating something. Even if your financial plan is awful and completely off and makes no sense at all, the fact that you've put pen to paper, you can build on it. You can make it better over time. You can get input. You can bring something for someone to look at and tweak and refine. But if you never take that initial step of actually dealing with your numbers and bringing people in to help you with your numbers, you're going to end up like kind of drowning on your own. So I hope that this course and this micro course has been really helpful for you. If you do end up deciding that you're looking for some more help with your numbers, I would absolutely love to be one of the people to be able to help you and guide you along in your business journey. At Finance Learning Lab, we offer online courses, we offer live workshops, we do group CFO coaching, intentionally where you're put together in a mastermind group of a very tiny cohort so that we can actually work together and strategize together with other companies at similar stages. Again, so you can kind of benefit from the questions that they're asking and also share and contribute back. And it's a really great way to be able to get access to a CFO without having to spend an outrageous amount of money that would cost for you to hire your own CFO. And we do occasionally do some one-on-one services and some special retreats. So I would absolutely love to keep in touch. Please do reach out to Carolyn@financelearninglab.com if ever I can be of assistance. And I wish you all the best on your entrepreneurial journey.